What if everything you were taught about failing was a complete lie that is secretly destroying your potential? Let us be completely honest with ourselves. Failure feels absolutely awful. It is this messy cocktail of shame, frustration, and crippling anxiety that makes you want to crawl into a dark hole and stay there. From a very young age, we are conditioned by rigid systems like school, sports, and early jobs. In these environments, success gets heavily rewarded with gold stars and praise. Meanwhile, failure gets harshly punished or cast aside into the margins. Get a bad score, and you are immediately put on a performance monitoring plan or cut from the team. The underlying message sent to our impressionable minds is crystal clear. Do not fail under any circumstances. This creates what psychologists refer to as a deep-rooted fear of failure, and this fear gets inextricably tangled up with our core sense of personal self-worth. We start to mistakenly believe that our external achievements are what make us valuable human beings. So when a strategy fails, the internal message we process isn't just that the approach was wrong. Instead, the voice inside our head whispers, "I am simply not good enough." This toxic internal monologue lies at the heart of human psychological paralysis. Welcome to the failure fallacy, the mistaken belief that a setback is a permanent truth. It convinces you that one failed attempt defines your lifelong capabilities. But here is the absolute truth. A temporary slip is never a final verdict. What actually destroys your odds of future success is the inability to learn from mistakes. Our biological brains are wired to react with high emotional alarm to mistakes. Failure feels like a direct threat to our ego, triggering immediate defensive instincts. Our initial impulse is often to deny it, minimize it, or sweep it under the rug. We pretend it never happened, hoping the uncomfortable feeling will vanish. But when we do that, we throw away the single most valuable data set we could ever receive. Failures contain hyper-specific feedback about what precisely went wrong. Without that feedback, you are essentially driving blindfolded through complex terrain. Ignoring errors guarantees that you will repeat them in the very next turn. Now here is where modern neuroscience reveals something truly extraordinary. Our brains are neurobiologically designed to learn and optimize through errors. When a mistake occurs, the brain generates a distinct electrical error signal. This whoop signal triggers neuroplasticity, rewiring neural connections to improve accuracy. Correctly processed failures literally build stronger mental pathways for future execution. Failure acts as the catalyst that reshapes your brain to adapt to higher challenges. The real problem is never failure itself. It is that nobody taught us how to fail properly. We are taught to aggressively pursue success, but given no operating manual for setbacks. Yet setbacks are the unavoidable foundation upon which true mastery is constructed. Until today, right now you are receiving that exact operating manual. It is time to move away from emotional reaction and step directly into strategic mastery. Introducing Section 2, the REAP framework, turning setbacks into strategy. To clear away emotional fog, you need an actionable, repeatable personal system. A system that strips away raw ego pain and replaces it with cold, analytical strategy. REAP stands for 4 powerful pillars: reflect, extract, apply, and propel. This framework allows you to systematically deconstruct any failure, big or small. Whether it is a bombed presentation or a rejected project, REAP converts it into rocket fuel. Let us break down Step 1, reflect, and specifically, how to reflect without rumination. Rumination is that useless hamster wheel in your head that replays embarrassment continuously. It beats you up emotionally, burns your metabolic energy, and leads nowhere productive. True reflection is calm, objective analysis. First, acknowledge feelings without judgment. Once emotions settle, transform into an objective detective examining evidence. Ask honest questions. What specific sequence of decisions led directly to this outcome? What assumptions did I rely upon that turned out to be completely false in reality? Most importantly, what was inside my control and what was totally out of my control? This key distinction keeps you from accepting blame for random environmental factors. It yanks you out of the helpless victim mindset and places you in the analyst's chair. That brings us directly to Step 2, extract, finding the actionable core lesson. Your objective here is to boil the entire mess down to one or two exact practical lessons. Think like a software developer debugging broken code. Failure is simply system feedback. When a program crashes, a coder doesn't cry, "I am worthless." They search for the bug. You are hunting for the exact process bug. Was it poor timing or lack of fundamental skill? Did the exam go poorly because you lacked understanding or because time management failed? Did the team project fail due to bad concepts or poor communication protocols? Vague conclusions like, "I just need to work harder," are completely useless for growth. Specific conclusions like, "I must start preparation 14 days early," give you an actual lever. You are extracting actionable wisdom directly from the painful wound of experience. This moves us smoothly into step 3, apply, executing the iterative revision. An extracted lesson remains entirely useless unless you translate it into a concrete action plan. The apply phase closes the feedback loop, ensuring structural changes are implemented. If bad time management caused the issue, lock dedicated focus blocks into your calendar. If a skill gap was revealed, immediately enroll in structured training or find a mentor. This is the true definition of failing forward, using momentum to upgrade strategy. You create a continuous virtuous cycle. Execute, assess, adapt, and execute smarter. Consider James Dyson, who famously built over 5,000 failed prototypes before perfection. Each failed attempt was not a defeat. It was a necessary technical iteration. He wasn't merely repeating effort. He was constantly iterating with greater intelligence. Now we arrive at the ultimate stage of REAP. Step 4, Propel. Propel is about zooming out and recognizing the macro transformation occurring within you. Every single time you navigate this loop, you rewire your relationship with adversity. You are building the single most critical psychological asset for success: resilience. Resilience is not an innate trait. It is a mental muscle forged through practice. The only way to strengthen this muscle is by actively processing real setbacks. Failure stops being a terrifying monster in the dark and becomes a familiar partner. You cultivate what psychologist Carol Dweck terms a foundational growth mindset. You realize your talents are not static caps, but expandable through smart effort. This is how REAP propels you to become far more capable than those who never risk failing. Let us explore Section 3, the secret weapon in action, real-world scenarios. Scenario 1, the academic setback. Imagine putting your soul into a group project. The results come back, and despite your hard work, the team receives a disappointing C. The initial sting is heavy, making you want to blame your uncooperative teammates. Instead of spiraling, you immediately initiate step 1, reflect. You let emotional frustration pass and objectively review the submitted report. You identify that the final submission was structurally disorganized and lacked clear cohesion. Now step 2, extract. The lesson isn't just that teammates lacked motivation. The real lesson is that the project lacked a defined project lead and central timeline. Step 3, apply. On the next group project, you immediately step up to lead. You establish a shared master timeline, assign roles, and set weekly check-in milestones. Step 4, propel. You don't just secure an A grade on the next assignment. You develop real project management skills that make you highly valuable in any career. Now let us examine Scenario 2. The young professional career blunder. You launch a major marketing campaign you were deeply excited about, but it completely bombs. It misses all target metrics. Your supervisor is unhappy, and you feel thoroughly embarrassed. Reflect. After the initial emotional shock settles, you dive directly into campaign analytics. You discover that your core assumption regarding customer preferences was entirely incorrect. Extract. The lesson is not "I am bad at marketing." It is never rely on unverified assumptions. Apply. You schedule an immediate review meeting with your manager to address the outcome. You own the failure completely and present a revised plan based on actual customer surveys. You turn a potential career disaster into a powerful display of maturity and leadership. You earn far deeper strategic trust from management than a minor success would have achieved. The REAP framework transforms setbacks from scary obstacles into reliable strategic fuel. When you stop running from failure, you unlock an unstoppable trajectory of personal growth. You now possess the exact manual to turn every future mistake into a competitive advantage. Remember, failure is not the opposite of success, it is an irreplaceable part of it. Apply REAP today and rewrite your personal relationship with failure forever. If this framework resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway.